me know when you're ready. Good. All right. Recap from last week's game against Alabama and Birmingham. Injury-wise, we got a couple of guys that right now we don't know. Day to day. Always with the Malik Zaire be day to day. Kadarius Toney will be day to day. Juwan Taylor, the defensive back, will be day to day. Everybody else at this point in time should be okay. Ja'Kai Polite will still be day to day. Those are the guys right now who will be day to day as far as coming off the game. The game was a good game for us, but it was a game that guys played hard. They played physical up front, both sides of the football. That they kind of took control of the game. Really excited about the turnovers. Really excited about the kicking game. Really excited about our running game. Not very happy with the receivers. They dropped too many passes. We got to be able to capitalize on those situations. Got to get better this week, and it's going to be a challenge for us this week because this team is a good, solid team, good team. Always Florida State, and Florida's always a rivalry game. And they'll challenge our receivers, and they're going to crowd the line because of our running game, and going to force us to throw the football. But we got to be able to run the football and create space to always be above the sticks and not behind the sticks. Great chance for us, another opportunity to play at home. Last week, our fans was unbelievable, the support that we had in the game from the fans, and we expect another big fan day for us to be supported when we play Florida State. Questions?
Start with Ryan.
Did Darius earn a bigger role this week? Darius Levens, did he earn more touches?
Well, everybody got touches in this game. I mean, it was just that time on the rotation aspect of it. We felt like a Darius opportunity came in. Michael did a great job in the game. Mark Thompson took another step. Like you guys can see how valuable he is to this football team, the way he's done. And we just wanted to get a Darius some carries late in the game, and he capitalized on it. He ran the ball very hard, very physical, and we just want to give him a chance.
Edgar, on the left.
Yeah, Coach, do you feel like the two teams are kind of maybe finding themselves a little bit heading into this game? FSU played Clemson well, and you guys obviously finally got on track a bit.
Well, you know what? I think both teams are teams that's going to challenge each other. This is a rivalry game. It's a state game. And these two teams always challenge no matter what. So no matter what the record is and what the talent level on both sides of the football field, it's going to be a very hard physical game that you want to be a part of. And the fans will be here. The Florida State fans are sneaking in the stadium. They have their fans here. So it'll be good. It'll be good for a good holiday, coming off Thanksgiving, Saturday game, first game out the box, which is 12 noon, which would be great.
Do you? How many of these you've been involved with?
Rivalry games?
Of this game, as a player,
a lot of
coach?
I don't have a number. It's a lot of games I've been to this magnitude. I mean,
No, FSU particularly.
With FSU? Oh, man, that's a lot of, that's playing-wise and coaching-wise, that's a lot. That's over 20.
Okay.
So it's been one of the rivalries that you play. You have a good time with it.
You have to have a memory, a game or two. There's got to be one or two that stand out, right?
No, because all of them was different. All of it was different. All of them was great to play in. Some of them, sometimes we lost 48 to whatever. We lost by like 48 to 3 one time. And then in other games, it was lopsided. And the rest of them was like neck and neck. So they are games that you play and you never know what's going to happen, but you play the game hard.
Gary on the left.
Randy, expanding on that a little bit, since you did have experience against Florida State as a player, as a coach at Miami, as a coach now, is there a characteristic about Florida State football, regardless of who the coach is, regardless of who's in the uniforms, that you found to be in common, regardless of the areas, regardless of the time you play in this area? Is there always something that you can expect from an FSU football team?
Always going to be physical. They always have the big defensive linemen up front. They do a great job. Odell Hagan's been there for a long time, the D-line coach, and he does a tremendous job with those guys. And they're going to be very physical up front. And offensively, always have a running back. No matter what era it is, they always have a running back to do a great job. And Blackman, the young kid, he's settled in right now. He don't make a lot of mistakes right now because they're running the football well. So you're going to see a very upfront defensive line, and you're going to see that the running backs they try to establish the run game offensively.
Scott in the back.
Randy, you've talked about since you stepped in, just focusing on winning each week. this being the last week of the season, do you have a particularly special message or different theme for your guys?
No, just stay on track to what you're doing. Don't make it personal. And, that's one thing that happens sometimes in life. You make things personal, and you forget the real reason why you're here. And the real reason why is to be competitive and win the football game. If me or if any coaches or any players make it personal against a Florida State, well, you're probably going to make mistakes because you're going to try too hard and you're going to forget about your assignments and what you're trying to get done. It's a game that we got to go out and play, do our assignments, play hard, play physical, and do what we do. If you make it personal, then that's when bad things happen.
Thomas?
I know you talked a little bit after the game about his play, but after you saw the tape, what stood out to you about Franks' performance?
He didn't try to force any passes. He threw some passes and receivers dropped the football, but he didn't get frustrated. He came back in, ran the ball, and then threw the ball, and he made some plays, made some key third down, plays in a 2-minute drill that we got a field goal out of, which was good. That's what you build on. Don't build on anything negative, just build on the positive. And he did some good things for us just to move the ball and keep us in the game where we needed to be in.
Edgar? Yeah.
How important is this game? Is it overplayed for recruiting?
It's always important when you play a state game. Anytime you play Miami, Florida State, Miami, Florida, Florida State, it's always big. It's a game that you have bragging rights. A lot of these guys on this football team have teammates that's at Florida State. So, it's when they go home, who get the bragging rights on who won the game for a whole entire year. It's not just one day, it's the whole entire year. So it's big in recruiting. And those are things that you look forward to and you be a chance to just be a part of.
Do you know a good bit of the kids on that roster, having recruited them?
I know a lot of the kids on the roster, know a lot of coaches on that staff. Played against some of them, and some of them I coached with. Bill Miller, I coached with at Miami. Me and Odell been friends since we played against each other. Been knowing Jimbo since recruiting. When I first started being a coach, me and him recruited a young man when he was at Auburn. So we know a lot of different guys. It's coaching. That's a part of it, and you know guys on the staff, and we all competitive. We all want to win, and that's the way we're going to approach it.
And recruiting currently, how are you handling it? I mean, the early signing period. I mean, how are you? You said last week that you're just coming from recruiting. How are you? Just trying to keep the class together.
Yeah, just do your job. Just recruit. And the one thing about it, which there are a lot of times in this recruiting phase, everybody worrying about the coaches. Florida sells itself, and a lot of people, like I ask the football players, why did you come to Florida? And they come to Florida because of the brand, because of the stadium, the atmosphere, the education, the family atmosphere. That's what you talk about. Coaches. A lot of guys may leave and go other places because some guys may be coordinators, some guys may be head coaches. I don't think that the student athletes can get mad at that point if somebody leaves for those situations, but also a student athlete after 3 years good enough to go, he needs to go. But they come to Florida because of the brand name. It's not you sell the brand. You don't sell me. You don't sell the next guy. You sell the brand. What's Florida's all about. And I think the guys that we have right now that are committed understand that big picture.
Robbie?
You took over a tough situation. How have you guys been able to hold things together the way you have, do you think?
Be professional as coaches. It's professionalism. Go out there and be yourself. Coach, do your job, because it's the only job you have. It's the best job you got. It's the one you have now. And our staff has done a tremendous job. More staff has done a good job of just doing their job. Don't look ahead. Just worry about the job you have right now, and good things to happen. And that's what we've been focusing on, to be honest with you.
And Randy, is the Florida FSU rivalry different than the Miami FSU rivalry?
It's all the same. It doesn't change. It's all the same. Florida State is Florida State, and they're going to be very competitive. They take a lot of pride in what they do at Florida State, just like at Florida. We take a lot of pride in what we do at Florida. And we're going to go out there, and then we're going to play the game, and whatever happens after that, we'll see what happens.
Anything else, guys? Nick?
Some of the juniors that are draft eligible, do you anticipate they'll come to you guys and the current staff to talk about leaving early or their positive?
What this university has always done is that we do a good job. When the season is over with, you let the juniors put their name in for the early enrolling, just to see where they're ranked at. And then when they get the information back, we present them the information, and we show those things, and then the NFL have their deal. So we do a great job. This university does a great job of understanding those other situations that happen. We want to be proactive instead of not being proactive. So we be always ahead of the game here. That's one thing I do like about this university.
Anything else, guys? Scott, last one.
Just in the event that there's an announcement of a new coach within the next week, are you worried about that being a big
Only
stress?
job I worry about is the job I got now, and that's the interim head coach. I don't worry about anything else. If I worry about anything else, I wouldn't do my job now. So I really don't worry about those type of things, to be honest with you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
All right,
Randy.
Appreciate you. Thank you.